And we're live. Thank you very much for joining us for the third installment, also known as Episode 2.
Hat trick.
Of Words About Things. My name is Joe, and with me is your other delightful host, also known by Jeffrey Laidman.
Hello.
We're pretty happy. I'm pretty happy to be recording again, just because of what happened last week.
It's true. That was an unmitigated disaster, and if anyone actually listened to that hour and a half of me sounding like I'm just sort of off stage in a cave somewhere, I definitely do appreciate that.
Kudos to you guys for sticking with us. I do need to bring up a couple other things from last episode. So, very embarrassing to me. If you tried to download the episode, probably around the first day that it was out, what you would have seen if you were as astute as Jeffrey here is that I used the wrong content, or the wrong Y-O-U-R as opposed to apostrophe R-E, which is something that always bothers me, but I'm pretty sure I typed that up at about 1 a.m.
Did you like how gentle I was in my text message?
I really did, because quite frankly, sir, you could have been way, way meaner about that. And
Joe,
it would have been warranted.
I don't mean to be. I think you might have maybe used the wrong.
That was really bad. I was very upset with myself. Again, the 1 a.m. thing is not an excuse, but I have to figure that was a contributing portion of it there. So there's that part of it. The other part, again, I just wasn't thinking at all. We talk so much about how, at least for me, Kevin Smith is absolutely the catalyst of this. Well, he'd be upset if I said that. We're the catalyst, but he was definitely a driving force in it. And what does Joe do? He misquotes the movie at the end of the podcast. Because I said, gotta love it, one of my family members picked this up, which none of them know Kevin Smith as well as I do. I said, there's only one return of the king, or there's only one return and it's of the king, where the line is actually, there's only one return.
Oh, sir.
Not of the king.
If I had even heard you, I didn't catch that somehow while we were recording.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's funny is I was driving home that night thinking, I'm pretty sure I quoted the wrong guy, because for some reason, in my head, it was not Randall saying it. It was the other dude. And it just kind of killed me. But he picked that up, so I'm going to correct it because I feel bad. And now if this ever does make its way to Red Bank, New Jersey, he's more than welcome to come up here and throw a powdered Timbit directly at my face.
Well, since we are assigning points, though, 10 arbitrary units to whoever it was in your family that caught that.
Yeah. So there's that part of it. One other real quick update before we get into our kickoff question, because, apparently we're taking time on this one. Maybe you guys should start listening to this and taking our stuff as predictions, because we discussed last week, or last recording, which was a while back. I'm not going to disclose the date. But we discussed Leviticus and people being mean to same-sex couples and stuff. And what does the Supreme Court do about a week later?
That's right.
Yep. I'm pretty sure you can call me Nostradamus Joe, and you can call Jeff Nostradamus.
Yes, that's correct.
So
that's correct.
Maybe you guys want to listen real carefully to any numbers we say and play those for like a week or two after you hear this. I thought it was very weird. I was like, I was just talking about that shit. But for one of the first, well, not one of the first, one of the very rare instances in my lifetime, congrats and kudos maybe. How about this? We'll do this. Golf clap.
Yes.
To the Supreme Court. There have been definitely a couple of times that they have done some stuff I haven't approved of, but this is a win. So if you know someone out there, go congratulate them and get ready to have to buy them a wedding gift.
I can only assume that Justice Kennedy is a big fan of Words About Things. I have to just say that. Scalia, not as much.
Yeah,
not as much.
There is something that you can find on the internet where people took, they said, they called it bless you or cough, one of the two.
There's going to be more of that, frankly, just as a heads up, because I have been not well the last couple days here, so I will try to do that as off mic as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, they'll work with it. This is indie podcasting at its finest. Folks.
Yes.
Real quickly, again, we got to get to that kickoff thing because we're pretty far in already. They put something up on the internet: YouTube trolling comments or Justice Scalia, which I had a pretty
his dissenting opinion actually contained the phrase, "Ask the nearest hippie."
Wow. That's good.
It also involved parentheses, right? Like sarcastic right, the way a high school girl would say, and then parentheses inside parentheses. That's all in the same paragraph, Joe. Like, that's
good.
not... you'd fail middle school English doing shit like that.
Oh, that's good. Well, whatever. Are you ready for the kickoff question? I feel like you're not.
I've not been yet. Let's go 3 for 3.
Just so everyone knows, we were supposed to record this last night, and I'm not saying that there's any issue with it whatsoever. Jeff was dealing with a bit of a patient zero situation.
Yes.
Where one of his adorable daughters got very, very sick, and he was not up to it either. So he's a little bit under, but he's decided to brave that so that we can record. All right. So you're...
I'm a regular Cal Ripken, as it were.
Right.
I'm a Lou Gehrig.
So your kickoff question is, this one's a bit about
I'm going to keep doing this to you. I'm like Michael Jordan in the flu game.
This one's a bit more about morals, which we haven't really gotten into, but I wasn't finding anything I really liked, so I had to pick the lesser of, I don't know, about 500 evils from what I read through. You watch a man get out of a very expensive car, dressed very well, and he drops a lottery ticket on the ground. You pick up the lottery ticket, and you notice that it is $1 million winner.
Mm.
Yeah, right?
Now, wait, you know me being the car guy, though. I know doesn't really give you a car. I need to know what kind of car, Joe.
It's an SL65 AMG.
That doesn't make my dilemma easier, because I was going to say if the car makes the guy obviously a douche, I'm probably behaving differently. If that is a neon orange, let's say Lamborghini with the top down, as opposed to like some sort of tasty vehicle like the one you just mentioned, Jeff's probably behaving differently.
Gotcha. So you're saying the vehicle is going to dictate whether that goes back to that guy?
Basically, if I think the guy's a douchebag, yes.
Wow. See,
now, at best, though, I am still offering some sort of a split in this situation.
I do like that most people immediately would go to... I'm sorry, folks. Jeff is currently terrifying his one cat who just wants love with a pillow.
I'm trying to save your life.
No, I get it.
Joe is allergic to cats. I'm trying to keep it away from him.
Yeah, most people go with, he has the money, I'll keep it because I need it, or, he's got the money, maybe I'll give it back, or everything else. The best thing I could come up with, and I thought about it a lot, was more just, I'd probably for a while flirt with keeping it. And I blame my parents for this. Eventually, I'd go catch up with it, but I'd give it back. Because, but I would definitely put something in like, hey, man, I think you dropped this. I got out of my Hyundai Accent and saw that you dropped this. And it's definitely a winner, man, so you should keep an eye on it.
It's a stick shift, just like your Mercedes, sir.
Yeah. And I'll say I'm just coming here so I can get medications for my sick kid. For those of you who don't know me well enough, which is Jeff's side of things, I don't have any kids. So I'm honest enough to give it back, but not honest enough not to lie about it. So that's the kickoff on that one, which I kind of liked. In other real quick news, so a lot of you have been great about going to Libsyn, and Libsyn's been great about making it very easy to post this stuff. But I've always wanted to have this on YouTube, which we've talked about before, and we haven't been able to crack that nut, and it's mainly because my computer hates Windows Movie Maker.
And my computer hates everything.
Yes, your computer hates work. But nicely enough, I actually am recording this immediately following a wedding. So I left a wedding, jumped in my car, and came out here. And while I was there, I connected with a lot of people I had kind of fallen out of touch with, and one of those people I completely forgot is all about digital video. So hopefully, between us, the help of Google Drive and the help of a delightful gentleman named Dominic, who is the I don't know if I want to call him the owner. He's a sole proprietor of Struck Down Entertainment. You can find his webpage at the same address there. He has agreed to give me some help and maybe some assistance on that. So hopefully this will be on YouTube pretty soon, which means you should not touch your phone while you're driving unless you're in a state that allows it. But I will tell you right now, I find a lot of podcasts on YouTube and just hit play and put the phone in the dashboard. So many thanks to him. And if you need some video services, please get in touch with him. He's done some delightful work. I checked out his website before we started recording.
Dominic, I thank you for helping us overcome our one incompetence.
One? Really? One of?
Well, yes.
Because we're recording on one mic again, folks. And this is probably going to sound a little bit echoey, but again, we're
better. I mean, let's be honest, though. Compared to last week, it's going to sound like this shit was mixed by Lucas Sound.
Yeah, this is true. So what else have you got going on? What's going on in your side of the world?
Not a lot, man. Just illness the last couple days, if I'm being entirely honest. I'm going to go back to doing sports with you. I'm like Willis Reed.
I laugh just because of the goofy smile.
I'm like John Clayton.
Face. I have no idea who those people are.
The last one was made up.
Oh, okay.
The rest of them before that were all real people. The last one was made up. I admit it.
I caught the Michael Jordan. Jeff is super, super into sports. And I'm talking, he can tell you a ton of stuff about the UFC and the history of it and whatever the other things were that combined to make that. And he can talk to you about fucking football and European football, also known as soccer.
Both footballs.
Yeah. Hockey. I'm pretty sure you've talked about basketball a couple of times.
It's true.
He gave me a rousing dissertation on who won the Scandinavian curling championships last week.
Now you're just making shit up. You've invented that now.
But Jeff did get me into. I played soccer, many years ago when I was in high school, and Jeff got me into watching English Premier League, and I don't want to say dragged, but invited me up to a game in Toronto, which we went to. What was it, last Saturday now?
Yes.
Where we got to sit in a sea of red with our delightful blue shirts on and watch NYCFC take down TFC.
Yes.
Toronto Football Club.
And it was fun, too. So, Major League Soccer, of course, for those who are not perhaps more of that sports persuasion. So not the British team I got you into, but sort of owned by the same team.
Yeah. And that was, I got to admit, that was, other than finding the damn field, that was... it was fun.
Well, Toronto was torn in half. There was an Indy race there a few days before we got there, and evidently part of that race is run on public streets, which are closed off with big old race barriers, and somehow the largest city in Canada didn't see fit to take those down 5 or 6 days after the race was over. So we got to drive completely into downtown to get to somewhere that's not in downtown,
right.
To have to then just loop back around, basically. And that was the only way of getting there that we could find.
Yeah, and Jeff is downplaying it probably to make us sound a little bit less silly, but...
Oh, we drove around like a couple of dicks for 2 hours, really, is what that really comes down to.
Because we got in and we were looking for a specific road, and we couldn't find that road. And so
I don't think that we could actually get to the road with that barrier up, although, frankly... We're probably just that stupid.
Well, I think that the part for us is, we had plenty of time, so it didn't matter. And let's be honest, what were we going to do if we parked? We'd probably have found a bar and had some beers, which would have been fine.
It's true.
But, I think it's more that we had so much time, we were like, fuck getting directions.
We'll just drive around a bit.
Yeah, and then eventually it came to a point where we're like, no, we need to find this place now. So we asked the cab driver, who was actually delightful. Apparently that's not something Toronto and New York share, is delightful cab drivers, because he was super nice and at an intersection gave us directions. So we eventually did find it. The only thing that bummed me out about that trip is we went all the way up to the Great White North and did not get poutine.
It's true.
That kind of killed me.
It's true. Well, I was going to at halftime, and the line for poutine in the stadium there, my God.
Yeah,
we would have missed the second half.
I have to imagine that line is kind of on a parallel, so to speak, of the beer line at a Buffalo Bills game.
But there's a lot of beer lines at Bills games. There was one poutine line.
Yeah. That was pretty crazy.
That was an interesting experience for me, though, because I've never gone anywhere as the road fan before. And we did not sit immediately with the other New York City FC supporters, which was my fault for not getting tickets early enough. But sitting in the top row of the stadium with a large drop behind us, being surrounded by people in the wrong color shirt who became increasingly upset with the result of the game as it progressed, was an interesting experience. And you did not see, as you were buying us beer, I was standing in the wrong color shirt at the stairway that essentially goes up to the entire end of one side of the stadium. And so a bunch of people passed by. And the one delightful thing, because we were in Canada and everyone is so stereotypically polite, but I don't care, it is accurate. like 15 different people hit me with the same insult, which is basically just, nice shirt, eh? While like looking down and not at me and sort of away from me quietly, which I gotta say was a really different experience for me because I do not scream obscenities to people at Buffalo Bills games, Joe, but I see it.
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah. And nobody at the Bills game is going, oh, nice shirt, eh? To somebody wearing a Jets jersey.
Yeah, but I will say this, for the most part, and I'm not saying this was any different up in Toronto, but for the most part, you know, I don't know shit about football, but it seems like the Bills fans will scream shit at you, but that's pretty much where it ends. Whereas apparently if you go to some other teams, you might not get away too well if your team wins and you're wearing the wrong color.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. Oh, your Oakland Raiders games, for example.
I was actually going to reference them, but I didn't want to, put myself deeper in because I haven't seen certain trilogies that I should have, and my Twitter picture's still sideways.
Oh no, you're right. There was at least two fatal stabbings outside their games last year. So you're correct.
That's good. Everyone listening, it's a game. Relax.
And I get really excited about it, but not to the point where I'm going stabby on someone.
You do. The only time I've ever seen Jeff actually get upset, and I think he is completely warranted, is I don't even think it was Championship Sunday. I think it was just a regular game where our team,
the one lone fan in red,
yes,
is the FA Cup final.
Was it the FA? Okay, so we were at a FA Cup final.
No one knows what this means, Joe.
Yeah, well, people will figure it out. And
our team could have won a trophy had they won. We'll just say that.
And there was one dude there in a red jersey. His team was not in this, and he was simply cheering anything that was, bad for us. And that's just being a prick. There's no other way of saying that. And now that I've dropped prick,
ooh,
as I said, I was at a wedding for a good friend of mine, and if they ever listen to this, congratulations. But it was funny because I was talking there are a couple people there that know of the podcast. Actually, Dominic is one of the people who followed the Twitter account that you were like, I don't know this person.
Okay, there we go.
I do, yeah. So there were a couple of people there, and my friend's mom, who my mom's proper. I've never heard his mom swear. Delightful lady. Her name's Judy, and she told me, you need to let me know when the next podcast is coming out. And I looked at her, and I probably went white as a ghost because I said, "You've listened to that?" And I need to figure out who told her about it because there's no way anyone again thought that the swear threshold, which I don't think we've sworn yet. So those of you listening, this is not safe for work if you've gotten this far without figuring that out.
I'm going to just say though, I think this is the last episode where we need to give fair warning because if you just go into a podcast assuming I can play this at work,
you're going to have a bad time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't help you.
Yeah. So she told me she'd listen to it, and she said, "Yeah, there's some language." She goes, "But I just plug my ears," and she's a sweetheart for listening, and so that's all there is to it. Is I'm going to mention her name and thank her again, and say I will absolutely come over for pancakes, and I will bring the girlfriend because she has not met her because I have not seen her.
Sorry about the naughty words, Judy.
Yeah,
I'm not going to stop saying them, but I do apologize.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do want to say though, really quick before we go away from the Toronto game, as you were buying beers and the stream of people in the wrong color shirts were coming past me, there was someone in the correct colored shirt, however, not of the same team.
Was it the
we were there?
Was it the FCB guy?
No. Well, it's not. It was a Bayern Munich shirt.
Oh, okay.
And so a guy in a Bayern Munich shirt, which he had a little bit of an accent, so maybe he's from there.
Fair enough.
Basically, it's like the winningest team in Germany ever.
Yeah,
but regardless,
it's the Yankees of Germany,
right? So he's wearing that shirt, and he stops me and gives me like a playful sort of smallish punch, like in the sternum, and it wasn't hard enough that it hurt. But it wasn't soft enough that's how I'd mess around with a complete stranger. And he goes, what are you doing in this shirt here? And I'm looking at him like, I don't know, this isn't the Allianz fucking arena, so what are you doing in your shirt here? Because just because it's red, don't mean it's the right team. And then he just kind of giggled disapprovingly and walked away. But it's like, what are you fucking doing with your life?
Yeah. So he didn't, excuse me, he didn't want to buy a Toronto shirt and figured out, well,
this is red.
A red soccer jersey. Yeah.
Which that's not, you can't do that.
No. Well, hey. And I was no better. I just wore blue Just a plain blue shirt.
At least it wasn't from a team that isn't there.
Yeah, I actually... So, again, I know this is not a visual medium, but I am wearing my Vincent Company shirt, which is sky blue and says, "You're in good company." I almost wore this up there, but I said, no, I can't be that guy. Because even though there's an affiliation, he's not playing. So we decided not to do that. But been an interesting week for, I don't know, us up here. That what the hell's his name? Richard Matt or something. He's got the dude that escaped prison and they got him and shot him.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That's I'm still. If you are smart enough to get out of prison and you're not smart enough to figure out how to not get caught once out, like, because my view of this was, I didn't even know, like, they were like, they escaped and there's cops all over Plattsburgh. Now, for those of you who don't know the geography of the state, get on Google Maps. But the second I see that, if I'm a criminal, I'm going, oh, I'm going to go to Pennsylvania.
Right.
Like they apparently just stayed in that area. So I'll be interested to see how quickly the other guy gets caught. But between that and the Supreme Court thing, that was funny. That was the first day that the manhunt wasn't on the news where I work. It was because of the Supreme Court thing, which was kind of interesting. Now, the best part about that, I don't know if you've seen this or not yet. Apparently, there was a small group of folks who were saying that since gay marriage was now legal everywhere, they were just going to get divorced because they've ruined the sanctity of marriage.
I hadn't heard that since the ruling. I had heard people threatening that before the ruling, and I don't know, man. If that's all your marriage was predicated on beforehand,
yeah, right?
I don't really know what to say to you.
Right. And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, because on the face of it, I was just like, okay, there's some crazy religious people. I'm not going to tie a religion to it because I'm sure they're coming from all walks. But it was funny to me because it's like, man, you know, the sanctity of marriage really isn't there anymore because that whole idea was I'm only going to, I mean, really, I'm going to wait till you swallow. Really, it's you're only going to do me from now on. That's
right.
kind of the idea.
Right.
And that was ruined when swingers clubs came up and in the 70s when they had key parties and shit. Like, I might have the wrong decade there. It might have been the 60s.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah. But, I mean, that, you know, you can't really complain about any of the other stuff. And, you know, well, we all know where you and I stand. I don't even think we need to say it just in the third episode of this. But that was funny to me. It's like, we're going to get divorced. And after I thought through it, I was like, good. Divorce fucks up your credit. Just have that. I don't care if you want to get divorced and be angry about it. So that was funny to me. There was something else that happened that was big recently, and now I'm not going to be able to remember it. I try to take notes as much as I can, hence the delightful moleskin notebook here. I try to take notes about things that I want to talk about, but some of them disappear. But a new segment that we might have to start, because I've talked about it the last 2 episodes, and I haven't talked about it yet this time, but I'm bringing it up again. We'll call this segment of the show How Joe Knows He's Old.
Ooh, I like it.
The girlfriend and I were down at the mall, and this mall was supposed to have, we talked about this, I think, the curfew, where kids have to, you know, get the hell out unless they have an adult. But we had gone to see Jurassic World, and it was sold out for the showing we were going to and the showing after it. So we were like, all right, well, that's a wrap. So she said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, let's go get gelato, because I'm a fat kid and I like gelato. Plain and simple. Gelato's my favorite thing in the world because they don't put any bullshit in it. Like, I don't need Reese's Pieces or any of that. No, I just need flavors. So we went down, got gelato, and then we went to the lower level and just sat. And while we were there, like 14, 15-year-old kids showed up. And they were just making a spectacle of themselves. And, like, the kid would go out and walk, and he would fake trip and, like, full-on fall on the floor. And
that old gambit.
Yeah. And they were taping recordings. And, like they were hitting on any girl that was even remotely in their age group that walked by and stuff. And, you know, when I was younger, I would have been like, what a bunch of idiots. And I would have walked away, you know. At a certain point in my life, I probably would have gone up and told them they were idiots and walked away. But at that point, I was just like, man, if one of them actually gets hurt doing that, their parents are going to sue them all. Like, my mind went straight to liability on it, and I was like, oh, and now I'm old. Yeah. So, again, I'm bringing it back. We weren't shitty like that when we were kids. I didn't even go to the mall when I was a kid. Well, I did, but not to go inside. So that was that part of it.
feel like the prevalence of camera, and this is not a new idea certainly, but if everybody didn't have a video camera with them all the time,
right,
most of that shit doesn't happen, frankly.
Right,
because they're not doing it for the Vine at that point, and so shit's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is as I'm sure you know, Chick has a pretty good what's it called? A pretty good knowledge of cameras and things like that, the regular consumer stuff, not high-end stuff, because of her specific job. And what was funny is as we were walking away, that's when she finally, because at first she's like, "Oh my God, these guys are idiots. Let's watch this." And I'm like, no, I don't want you, because she doesn't watch as an aside or out of the periph. She just straight on stares, and it's like, this is why you get into bad situations, because you stare at people doing stuff, and then they know that they've got your attention, which is what they want, and then they're going to
all they want.
Yeah, they're going to come over here, and they're going to try and amp it up, So that's why you get into crap situations that you get pissed about. But as we were walking away, she's like, "They have a nicer camera than I do," and she's got a pretty nice camera. I was like. And, that's when I did the voice that she always loves. And I go, "Thanks, Mom." Because that's all that is. I mean, their parents bought them something expensive. So, yeah, that was an interesting... That whole day at the mall was very interesting. I hate going to the mall because I don't like crowds and people being useless. Like walking 4 wide really slow when I have shit to get done.
Right.
Oh, I almost killed some preteens on Black Friday a couple of years back at the mall.
I mean, I have to say, though, if you were in the mall on Black Friday...
I know. But, okay, so...
I'm not saying that doesn't mean they're shitty. No, I'm just saying you've got to know you are in for a big amount of shittiness.
So love makes you do stupid stuff, plain and simple. And what happened was, whatever the circumstance was, I was able to stay up for most of the night. I didn't have to work the next day or something like that. Which is probably accurate, because we're You did it. You did it again, Joe. We cannot get through an entire episode without saying that damn name.
I'm winning though now because you've done it twice. I've done it once.
Yeah, I'm telling. Oh God. So, anyways, I didn't have to work the next day. So Danielle was working, as is wont to happen, and she wanted these bracelets from Alex and Ani. And there's one store in the mall, and I looked it up online, and they were open. And I said, well, I said, how many people? And because I'm an idiot. I said, how many people are really going to go to the mall to shop? And actually, I'm not an idiot because most of the people I see were not shopping. I think what parents did is said, I'm going to dump my kid here while I go to stores that actually have good deals. So I went up there and I went to this store, and I'm not going to call them out on it because I'm going to kind of talk a little bit bad on it, but it's not their fault. I wade through people. I'm pretty sure I knocked over a couple of kids, not like toddlers, like, teens.
Right.
Because I'm just not stopping. If you're milling around uselessly trying to get a Starbucks, frankly, you're just a space invader, and I'm taking you out. And I get up to the store, and I'm sitting there, and there's two girls working the counter where they have all these things displayed. And the one girl, there's a bunch of little teenage girls who are just going, "Oh, can I see that one?" And they're just trying it on, and that's it. Then they're giving it back to them. And I'm sitting there waiting, and nothing. And it's like, I don't blend into that crowd. I'm tired. I have a beard. I'm a dude. I have gray hair and stuff. Little sales tip: if you're doing something like that, maybe pay attention to that dude. So finally what I did is I pulled out my credit card and tapped it on the counter, and you'd have thought I threw, chum in the water, because both sales girls were like, "Can we help you with something?" And it was everything I had not to say, yeah, I'm here to actually fucking spend money, and not like these 14-year-olds who can't afford this shit.
They didn't think you were there just to try shit on for yourself?
Yeah. And the one sales girl, I think she kind of took a cue on it. She's like, "Do you know what you'd like?" And I rattled off all 3 that I was buying, Danielle, and she's like, "Okay. Anything else?" I'm like, "No, you want to meet me at the register? Because I'm buying those. I don't need to look at them. Just make sure they're all silver." And she's like, "Oh, okay." That was worst experience of my life. I'm not joking. Like, everywhere I looked in that mall that day, there were just people not spending money. And that was the year that everyone got pissed because the mall said they were going to fine stores that weren't open. And there were a bunch of stores that were like, "We don't feel like we need to be open at midnight because people should be with their family." And that's pretty much the only time I hate consumerism, is when shit like that happens.
Still thought those stores should have just all said, "Fuck you, then we'll pay the fine."
Yeah.
But
yeah. No, I think they all should have said, "Fine, when's my lease up?"
Right.
Because I'm sure some of those stores can get out. There's got to be something to get them out of that lease. I don't even know how we got on that topic. at all.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
These things happen.
I'm pretty sure it was something about me not liking crowds and then talking about Black Friday.
You just flashed back to the worst crowd you've ever been in.
Yeah, that's probably one of the worst.
So I have to say it's 30 minutes. There's been no beer yet.
This is true. I think we will. Though the nice thing is now is we don't have to leave mics running. I can pause this.
Yes.
And go get beer, which is good because I'll probably avail myself of the time for something else too. Nothing illegal. Calm down.
Beers have been obtained.
Yes, sir.
So this is Small Town Brewery's Not Your Father's Root Beer, ale with the taste of spices. This shit tastes like root beer, Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works at 5.9%, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Well, if anyone ever pulls up my words that escape me, my Untapped profile. So the first time I had this, I just kind of equated that to me. It tastes pretty much like root beer mixed with vodka, and I've found now, that's why I had you chill these pint glasses, that when it's colder, it definitely just takes on complete root beer taste. So, quite frankly, that could be a little bit dangerous for Joe.
That's fair. There's a slight boozy taste to it, like on the aftertaste, but it is mainly just tastes like root beer.
Yeah.
Although I will say, when I was checking it on my Untapped, I noticed that the same brewery makes one that's 10.9% or 10.7%.
10.7.
10.7%. If that shit still tastes just like root beer, that could kill Jeff on the wrong day.
Yeah.
But there's no way that it as soon as you get over like 8-9%, there's no way that doesn't taste like fucking like winey or boozy or some shit, because you can't not get into that taste at that level.
Right. No, I do like this one. And there will be many more beers. So if you're listening to this and you decide you like beers, go nuts. Try some that we've tried on the podcast. It's fun. It's like interactive drinking.
Or really, more importantly, tell us some shit that we should have.
Yeah, there you go. Hop on the Twitter account. Oh, and I didn't even do the Twitter introductions and stuff. Twitter, for new listeners, first and foremost, go back and, well, if you found this on YouTube, go back and find the other 2 episodes. But the Twitter is WRDS about things. At in front of it, obviously. Yes. If you feel like emailing us, it's the exact same thing. Words about things without the first O in words, or the first O in the title. Holy crap! You'd think I'd had 9 of these beers already. It's just been a very, very long. I think I'm actually exhausted just thinking about what's coming up. The email is wordsaboutthings@gmail.com, so you can also hit us there. I did find out you absolutely can leave comments also on the website. There's a very weird click coming through. Hopefully that doesn't come through on the recording. No, it was my cell phone. Now that has completely distracted me, we're leaving that in unedited. Why not?
The same level of professionalism people have come to expect from us. I believe you were trying to get to. You can find the website at wordsaboutthings.libsyn.com.
Yeah, they know the
which
website.
You're already here.
Us, yeah.
No, I know, unless it's on YouTube.
But you reminded me. You can actually leave a comment there. If you look on the bar for each episode, there's a little word bubble up in the corner, and if you click on that, you can leave a comment. And then Jeff and I get to moderate it. So if you're mean, we're not posting it. No, I'm just kidding. If you're mean, I'm posting it. I don't care.
I almost hope somebody's mean so I can talk about it on here. Oh, yeah. Because I've always wanted to say this. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link's in the description. Yes. Nice. Yes.
There you go. And now you know what? You're going to forget to put the link in the description.
Oh, I am.
Oh, and
that's correct.
That was another thing I wanted to bring up. So some of you were, I don't know, subjected to me doing a solo intro explaining some of the issues on episode 1, and I called it. So another Nostradamus-like moment. I said, Jeff and I are going to record, and we're going to have this up Monday, and now that I've said this, something's going to happen, and you got sick 2 days later.
Yes. Yes, I did. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So apparently, something's going on.
It was either you or my daughter that was here with a 103-degree fever. It could have been either one.
Yeah, you never know. Chaos theory, man. Me saying that was the butterfly.
Yes. Yes, it was.
And you were the tidal wave.
Yes.
But I'm just glad you made a quick recovery so we could take care of this. Yeah, lots of stuff.
Recovery is a strong word.
Not really.
I've had coffee and Rockstar Energy drink and beer. We're just making do. It's fine.
You're just combining the right amount of stimulants, uppers and downers, to get you through. I like it. My cold remedy is usually way too much. Like I pick up the vitamin C drops, the Hall's vitamin C drops, which I picked up by accident once, thinking they were cough drops, because I rarely medicate myself for anything. And so I picked up those once by accident, and I had all of them in one day. And someone then explained to me that there's 100% of your daily need of vitamin C in every single drop. So whatever, I'm just going to piss it out. But I felt a lot better. So when I start feeling, that little tickle in the back of your throat, I hammer down those and then put myself in a delightful NyQuil coma.
Yes.
And,
I like, by the way, that you said rarely medicate, and then before the end of the paragraph, the phrase NyQuil coma came out.
Well, I rarely medicate, but when I do...
You medicate.
Yeah, seriously. It's I rarely medicate, but when I do it to excess.
I like it.
Yeah, that's my Dos Equis guy.
So I do just have to stop for a moment and just back up. You left a wedding reception to do this today?
Yeah, it's, I
mean, first of all, credit to you for understanding what priorities means.
Yeah, and that's the thing, if we were able to do this yesterday, I don't know if that would have been better or worse, because, so to give you guys an idea of my weekend, we were supposed to record on Friday. Jeff got sick, totally fine. We all understand it. So Saturday, I knew I had a wedding. Danielle has a wedding today too, but it's a different wedding. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So,
I didn't even realize that part.
Yeah. One of her friends is getting married. Well, got married because it already happened. And one of my good friends is getting married. And so I said, well, I can't miss mine, and you can't really miss yours. So I guess we're flying. And it's one of those. I kind of weighed it in my head and said, you know what, we can't record on Sunday for two reasons. The first one being that that only gives us, the time between then and noon on Monday.
Look,
based on hit a deadline.
Based on the 2 weeks it took us to get the last episode online, I don't see why we can't do it under the gun of 18 hours.
Yeah, right. So it was one of those things. The reception started at 5. I was there, and initially thinking about it, I said, you know what, 5 o'clock to about 8:30. I said, that's a pretty good time. I'm not doing the, eat and run thing or anything like that. I'm not being rude. And this is something that's important to me, and I've got to stay on top of it to see what comes of it and to prove to myself that I can follow something through like this. So that was my idea going in. Well, I forgot how many people this person and I know in common, because I've lost touch with some of them. So I walked into kind of a big giant reunion. So it definitely kind of hurt to leave a little bit early, because I was like, I'd really like to talk to some of these people. And for those of you, because the podcast got brought up more than I thought it would, so someone in that group has been pushing that link around. And some of you, I think, now are going to listen to this, and you'll know who you are. Thanks for listening, first off. It was great to see him. It was very cool to catch up with people that I haven't talked to in 6 or 7 years. So it was rough, but, you gotta do what you gotta do. Some people might not understand it, but I think the two most important people in that room understood it.
There we go.
That was, and actually, who we brought up before, Judy, that's my buddy's mom, and she was... When's the next one coming up? Well, Judy, I'm actually leaving to go record it now. She's like, oh, okay, well, thanks for coming. It wasn't even like, oh, that's unfortunate. It's like, oh, thanks for coming. Go record it so I can,
record it so I can listen to you swear more.
So I can listen to you, swear and make my heart cry. So, yeah. But that is what it is. But, yeah, tomorrow would have posed an entirely different thing, because I have family, the first of... way too much family is coming into town tomorrow. My brother gets into town. Actually, what time is it here? So, yeah, he'll probably be here in an hour. His flight lands. And then he's here for a couple days. For a couple days. And then my sister and her brother-in-law get in town from Oklahoma. God, I'm messing them up already. From Oregon. Then I have my other sister coming up from Pittsburgh. And I'm pretty sure I have some aunts coming into town and a cousin that I haven't seen in forever coming into town too. So it's just going to be constant running back down to see them and everything. So tomorrow would have been kind of bad too, I feel. So I'm glad we were able to do it tonight.
Well, the good thing is we can have it edited online and you can play it at family dinner.
Right, there you go. That wouldn't terrify most of them. Yeah. And I'm sure I'm going to get heckled from my brother, because I was talking to him about the audio difficulties, because he is in the tech industry. Yeah. sorry guys, we're still working on it. Eventually we'll have it figured out.
Anyone that actually does this for a living, too, in terms of any sort of audio or video or anything, really must think we're just the biggest couple of fucking mouth breathers on the planet.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Well...
And not to say that they're wrong, necessarily, but they can't have a high opinion of us after last week.
Right, yeah. Well, we'll turn it into an uplifting thing. Two guys who had no idea how to record anything.
It's true.
Which I have no excuse for based on previous things that I've done with my life. Basically went out and bought a microphone and hooked it up and were able to put something on the web. So if we can do it with a combined IQ of, I'm guessing, somewhere around 102.
Sure.
You can do it. So anything you want to do, whether it's, well, as long as it's not hurting other people, go out and do it. I got to put the Kevin Smith disclaimer on there. If you want to go out and hurt people, this message isn't for you. But yeah, sorry about the audio quality.
This week should be better, though, because one mic or not, we've at least planned for it this week to where it should be working.
Yeah, and Jeff and I are sitting at a different angle, so hopefully he just won't sound like he's, in another room. That was the worst part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun trying to edit that together, though. I had a lot of fun.
You mean after I gave up after a week and a half?
Yeah. After I was like, look, we just got to get it up there. Let's just grab whichever feed sounds good. Now, I know that, so I don't pay much attention to news. I know that I've brought up a couple of major news stories, and that's only because my current place of employment has giant TV screens that are constantly tuned to CNN, so I see headlines while I walk by. But I know you really pay attention to it, so how much have you been paying attention to Donald Trump over the last
Oh,
year?
God, I love that he's back.
Yeah?
I love that he's back, because he's an asshole, obviously. But the fact that he's running for president again, if for nothing else, at least means all the comedy shows I watch will get some enjoyment out of it for the next few months. Did you see what Jon Stewart said on The Daily Show?
No.
Well, I don't know if you watch The Daily Show or not. Jon Stewart is leaving the show this summer after many, many years of fine service to us all. And he just basically ran like a clip of Trump announcing he's running for candidacy again, and then just basically acted like he was coming under his desk for 30 seconds. And then he's like, they're putting me on comedy hospice because he just writes. They don't even need to. Let's be honest, man. They don't have to fucking do anything.
Right.
Like he just says shit, and they can just play that clip, and people laugh. They don't have to produce a show anymore if he's running for president.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? I saw that, and I saw just a clip of like the percentage of what what percentage of backing each fucking candidates, that's the word, how much they had, and he was like in the 11 or 16% range, and I was like, shit, like, because at first I thought it was just another ploy, because he's done this before.
Yeah.
It's just to get his name out there, which is stupid. You're a billionaire, knock it off. But have you heard the most recent stuff with Univision?
I have not.
Okay.
Now, I have to say, though, in his speech, did you see any part of his speech about when he announced he was running again?
No.
He essentially said, I'm not going to be able to get it verbatim, but the basic point of it was Mexicans are raping our women and bringing drugs into our country. I'm not saying they're all rapists, but was really the premise of like an entire section of his speech, which I have to say is fascinating to me, specifically because Republicans in the last couple elections have been scrambling to figure out how to get more of the Hispanic vote. I figure calling them all rapists and drug dealers probably not the way to get that done.
Yeah, probably not. And so this will tie into this. So basically, do you know what Univision is?
Yes.
Okay. Big Mexican television.
I've had to watch a couple NYCFC games on
there you
Univision
go.
this
Okay.
season. So
yeah, because quite frankly, I'll be completely honest, I had to look it up. So basically, what they did is they got pissed off because of that speech. I'm guessing they said comments on immigrants. So I got to figure that's part of it, and they just dropped the Miss USA pageant, which quite frankly, I can't really see a lot of people in Mexico giving a shit about the Miss USA pageant.
That's got to be right.
That's just my thought process
right.
on it. But hey, whatever. So basically, he got angry. He said he's going to sue them. But the best part is, and I'm taking this from a at least relatively credible news source, and quite frankly, folks, I like looking at the news and giving it to Jeff with as little research as possible because I don't really care all that much, but he gets real upset. It's fun to watch. So he wrote a letter to Randy Falco, who's the CEO of Univision. This is a screenshot of the letter. Dear Randy.
Does it start with, I'm sure not all of your employees are rapists? No. And you know what the weird part was? He didn't say rapists, he said rapers. Nice. Which I don't know, that I don't know why that makes it stranger to me.
You know what's really funny?
Is it a word?
Do you know the, it might be, and here's why. Do you know the Jimmy Kimmel, where he does the celebrities read mean tweets?
Yes.
He had one guy on, and I'm not going to be able to figure out who it was now, but the tweet that was read was, I'm really mad that they cast this dude in whatever show, because he's TV poison for one, and secondly, something to the effect of he's a total creeper with, and direct quote, raper face. So maybe Trump wrote that tweet.
It may have been.
He's doing that. So the letter that he wrote says, Dear Randy, please be advised that under no circumstances is any officer or representative of Univision allowed to use Trump National Doral, Miami, its golf courses, or any of its facilities. Also, please immediately stop work and close the gate, which is being constructed between our respective properties. If this is not done within a week, within 1 week, we will close it. Also, it's too bad you didn't have the courage to call me yourself instead of delegating the task to Bo. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then, that's not even the best part.
Does he give it a P.S.?
Yes. P.S. Please congratulate your Mexican government officials for having made such outstanding trade deals with the United States. However, inform them that should I become president, those days are over. We are bringing jobs back to the U.S. Also, a meaningful border will be immediately created, not the laughing stock that currently exists. I feel that his candidacy is over before it's begun.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, though.
Sir.
I can't even get upset about him, though, because he's such a caricature already that, like, you can't have spent the last, 20 years being a joke every time you're spoken about on television. Like, I can't even get mad at there are people and candidates that I do get upset about, but I can't even get mad about him. All he does is give fodder to comedians that I like at this point. I like it, though. Apparently there's like a direct, in his mind, there's like the line that the commissioner has to Batman, like directly from the Univision office to the Mexican president's office. Right. I like that exists in his mind. Yeah. That's fun for me, at least.
I think it's like, to me, seeing this, I feel like maybe this is just another publicity stunt, because you can't honestly, like, in his world, he can absolutely say that and whatever, burn a bridge. He's a billionaire. What are you going to do about it? But when running for the presidency, I'm sorry, sir, that's not going to go well for you. So I feel like, this was his way of burning it so that he got his name back out there and whatever.
Well, he'll stay in this shit as long as he should. I think that any other candidate from that party should, like, refuse to even go on TV with him, though.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a debate, just make him stand there by himself and say shit like this for 2 hours.
Yeah. That was astounding to me. And apparently he wants to sue Univision because of everything. Man. I'm trying to read through real quick just to see. It's oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
Oh. My illness and Donald Trump are combining to kill me on the air.
Yeah. Holy crap. That's astounding. I mean, oh, Jesus. If he does get elected, man, I quite frankly, I might be out.
I'm just going to stop you right there. I'm just going to stop you right there.
Sir, be careful, because I thought it was a shoo-in that Gore was going to win. Oh, wait, he did.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe that. That's amazing to me. So, back to sports. I saw something, and I said, I'm just going to ask Jeff about that. I'm not figuring that out. How close, I don't think you do, and so I might be screwed here. How closely do you watch basketball or pay attention to basketball?
I watch basketball.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a big, this sounds, because you don't know why, this is going to sound weird. I'm a big LA Clippers fan. I'm just gonna let that
Jeff,
sink in.
the other team I know that you watch is in a different fucking country.
I know,
So
but legitimately though, anything that has a thing here, I'm a fan of the local teams.
We don't have a local basketball team, Jeff. We did.
Los Angeles, that's that same franchise.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I knew that, and it's because one of the high schools I went to, the athletic director played for that team when it was
For the Braves?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Fuck, you're asking me to remember his name now? It was an athletic director from St. Francis High School. I can't remember his name.
Damn it, I want to know his name, though.
Yeah.
I might have his basketball card, Joe. That's what I'm asking.
That'd be pretty interesting, actually. So apparently there's some basketball player that got traded like fucking a bunch of, like 4 times in one day or something like that. You didn't hear about this?
Now
I'm gonna have to go find it.
Well, no, I did. I don't know who it is though. Because I didn't watch the draft that closely,
Right.
Because the Clippers were not in an interesting position to pick anybody, so I didn't really look. But no, I was aware that it happened to someone, but I didn't see who it was specifically.
Yeah. So you can't help me at all, you jerk.
I can't.
That's all right. All right, so we got that.
Oh God! So I pulled up Trump on my computer. Did you happen to see why he actually got so mad at Univision?
Because they banned. Well, what I saw was because they banned the Miss USA thing.
They did do that. Their president also posted a photo online comparing Trump to the Charleston gunman.
Wow.
So that happened as well, and then he apologized.
Wait, I'm sorry. Just to be clear, the president of Univision.
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say if that
compared
was the
Trump to the guy that went in and
whatever.
shot all the people in the church.
Nice.
And then Trump's response was, "Apology not accepted. I call for his resignation as president of Univision, and Univision should not be allowed to host the presidential debate. It is a total conflict of interest." So there we are.
That is not a conflict of interest, actually.
That is not what that means.
No, not even a little bit. That's God damn. You know, for someone who's running for the presidency, he doesn't seem to understand the Second
He just
Amendment
says words
very well.
aloud.
Yeah,
It's fine.
He just says things.
That hair, even if it's fake, how does it take that shape? I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what? I stopped watching. I frankly stopped really following politics. I still keep up a little bit, but I got so upset during the Bush presidency, specifically because of Cheney, that I just stopped.
That's fair.
Well, at the American people, really, because, you know, I think there's too many people. Here you go. Those of you at home, be honest about it. Don't Google it. Right here and now. What's the vice president's main job? See if you understand that. Because most people don't. And once you understand what his main job is, then look up what Cheney did immediately before running for vice president. And you will see that is what we call a conflict of interest.
What, you mean that bank account padding that took place right before he slid into that office from the company he was leaving?
No. Oh, yes. Well, yeah, the massive, you know, the thank you present from the giant company that he left to go and basically decide who gets contracts. Yeah, so I stopped kind of paying attention then, but Trump might pull me back in if I'm being honest. Well, at this point, since we've both pretty much finished, I think it's probably time for another beer.
To the beers.
To the beers. All right, we've got our beers. We've got a new one, but I do want to say this before Jeff introduces this because he's our beer master. Jeff agrees with me. As we were talking about, Mr. Trump and all that good stuff, we both kind of stopped drinking, and when that beer, the Not Your Father's root beer, warms up, that bite gets a lot bigger.
It's not. It goes from tasting like root beer to tasting like sour, horrible soda. I don't know. I blame Trump though because we stopped drinking it to talk about him, and it warmed in the meantime.
Precisely.
If for nothing else, his presidential bid should fail just for fucking with my pint. Really. What we have now though is from Devil's Backbone Brewing Company, which is a fun name as well. Vienna Lager, Vienna Style Lager.
Yeah, a little bit redundant.
Yes, redundancy lager.
But I will say, out of all the beers that I drink, Viennas I tend to really, really get behind. I'm almost positive I've had this one. If I haven't, kudos to the person who bought it for me for finding another one I hadn't had. But I think he bought one that I had. So I do like this one. Nice amber color to it.
It is tasty. I was going to say, when I poured it, it's got certainly a more color to it than I expected it to.
Right, yeah. I put it on par with Flying Bison's Rusty Chain. It's the same.
Yeah.
And Rusty Chain, a lot of people think that's like a light red. It actually is a Vienna style.
Yes.
So, yeah, I do like this one. What did we say this was? Devil's Backbone Brewing Company. Sorry, folks. We're checking into Untapped, which if you're not on and you like beer, you probably should. Now, the other thing I kind of wanted to go over is I had mentioned earlier that Danielle and I had gone to Jurassic World, which I'm not going to spoil for anybody. Very, very good. Phenomenal movie. But the other thing we've done is, I'm not going to talk about this too much because I know you don't watch it, but we've been watching all of the Game of Thrones because we just got into it, so we had to catch up. But we ran out of seasons, and we had to pick some stuff up. And man, I got to tell you, I think I'm going to get back into indie movies again because we watched The Cobbler it's got Adam Sandler in it, Dustin Hoffman, and I'm sure a couple other decently big names that I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I'd seen the trailer. I haven't seen that, but I saw the trailer for it. It looked decent.
Oh, Method Man. That's the one I'm forgetting, which I enjoy whenever he's in a movie. And it was awesome. I mean, I thought, like, I started watching it and I was like, hey, I'm good. Like, this is going to be cool. And I thought I knew the story arc, which never bothers me. Like, if I already know where a movie's going, I'm fine with it because there's so many variables. I'm good.
Right.
But it totally didn't go in that direction, which was really nice to see. And I just really liked it. You know, I'm tired of. I told another friend of that, and he was like, "Oh, Adam Sandler." Blah. It's like, you know, maybe you should go watch Punch Drunk Love. Like, the guy can actually do a serious role. You know, he can do the comedy, and he's famous for the, you know, college level type humor that he was doing.
College is generous.
Yeah. So I mean, if you have a chance. I would watch it. Maybe you'll hate it, but I really liked it. It reminded me of... I had an English teacher in high school who suggested some books to me that I could read because I was so bored with everything else. Like, you know, I mean, the standard Drek, like Oxbow incident and shit like that.
Right.
You know, Red Letter, all that crap. Stuff that I never read and still somehow passed the tests. So she gave me some books that didn't fall into a genre, and I asked her, I said, well, what genre are these? And she said, well, they're literary. And I said, I don't know what that means. She said, they have aspects of everything. There's no, you know, specific overtone or anything. She's like, you just read it to find out what happens. And that's kind of what this movie felt like. It's a movie that, you know, it's going to be there to entertain you. There's some serious stuff to it. There's some humor. There's some romance and everything else. So it was pretty good. And usually I don't watch trailers for movies when I get them on DVD. I don't have time for it and I skip it. But this one we actually did. And both the other movies were kind of, I say indie movies don't get all hung up on that. I mean movies that weren't, you know, wide. Like, I had never heard of this until I saw a poster for it in the movie Rental Place. So, you know, to me, you know, I'm not talking indie like, you know, Clerks or Blair Witch Project, you know, shit like that. I'm just saying movies that aren't widely brought out. And there were two more, and I think those are definitely getting watched. So I'm probably going to, you know, jump right back on that bandwagon because there's some good movies coming out, but at the same time, you know, some of the movies in the theaters are kind of killing me, actually, at this point.
Well, that's fair. There is some shit out there that is...
Yeah, there's a lot of shit, and then every once in a while you get something good. Like Kingsman. I enjoyed Kingsman.
I haven't seen it yet. The trailer looked fun. I mean, I'm down with anything with Sam Jackson with the sideways hat and face punching. I'm probably going to see that at some point.
Yep. Yeah, that was... he was... I don't know if I just had that much of a different sense of humor of people. I feel like I don't, because Danielle and I usually do not have the same type of humor, but every once in a while it syncs up beautifully, and we were in the theater laughing at a ton of stuff that he said, just because to us it was funny to watch. It was funny to watch that dude, Jules. Was he Jules in Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny to watch that guy who has played that character so many times have a lisp. they didn't say he was afraid of blood, but he's like, I don't like blood. Like, you know, just half the stuff he did was just really, really funny. And that movie I thought was awesome. But quite frankly, if you throw any delightful accent at me for an hour or two, I'm going to be happy one way or another. That's why do you think I like Disney's Brave so much? Because there's delightful accents in it, and I'm totally down with that.
Did you see the FIFA movie? Hold on, let me rephrase that. I know you didn't see it because no one went to go see it. But are you aware of the FIFA movie?
I was not aware of it until you told me about it, because we were talking about the president scandal and everything else.
So, for anyone that doesn't know, the World Cup was big here last summer, so at least people are on board. We discuss specific club teams. People aren't going to be with us. But,
right.
So, FIFA and the incredibly corrupt president thereof, Sepp Blatter, they funded a movie called United Passions, which is basically a movie about how great FIFA is. So, it opened on June 5th this year, and it wasn't in a lot of theaters in the States, but regardless, it spent. Let me just pulling up here what it cost them to make. $27 million it cost to make. I'm going to just give you a hint, Joe. I'm going to say it lost money. I want you to guess in the opening weekend, and after the opening weekend, it was pulled from theaters. $27 million budget. Guess how much money United Passions grossed in the United States? It lost a lot of money.
I really kind of feel like, we got to be talking less than six figures. I just don't see that many people going to see
Keep
that.
going down in figures.
No shit, really? Like $5,000?
Keep going down in figures.
Come on.
The official box office number, after getting hammered by every critic who watched it. I don't know which paper, but there was a paper. Might have been the Guardian or the one of the British papers in London called it film excrement.
Nice.
It grossed $918.
Holy shit!
There was there's a John Oliver who guest hosted the Daily Show last summer while Jon Stewart was filming his movie. Has his own show on HBO now called Last Week Tonight. If you don't watch it, you should. He's delightful. But he had a clip of some news or a broadcast in New York City, and the small theater was opening in there. There was one person that went to see it on opening night in the theater it was playing in New York City. One dude.
That's awesome. See, now, I'm sorry, folks. There's going to be a couple jokes here that you're really going to have to dig into soccer shit to understand. And it's not specifically with FIFA, more UEFA. I'll bet you that dude was wearing a Liverpool shirt.
I don't know that he was.
I'm going with he was, because it's funnier to me because of a person we know and the never walk alone thing.
I'll let you go for it.
And you know why they made something for $27 million that would never make any money. They hit a transfer fee in there. There's some bribe money somewhere in there.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny though. The actor that played Sepp Blatter was Tim Roth. And I know the name may not immediately spring to mind for you. He's been in a million movies, and some good movies. He's won a couple smaller awards and stuff too.
Shawshank Redemption guy?
No, that's a different Tim. However, since you just mentioned Pulp Fiction, he was Pumpkin in Pulp Fiction.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to go watch that movie now.
I'm gonna pull. You keep talking. I'm gonna pull the picture for you because you'll know.
You keep talking. Yeah, I haven't seen Pulp Fiction in a while. I really should watch it again because the last time I saw it, I was in my 20s.
It's Pumpkin and Honey Buddy, man.
Oh, I gotcha. Hey, speaking of Pulp Fiction, did you hear about the guy? I think he's actually in England who thwarted a robbery attempt.
No,
because of Pulp. Oh, it was pretty much the same setup. He was in some place, and he has the Sam Jackson bad motherfucker wallet.
Come on.
I'm dead serious.
If you own that wallet, you are buying that wallet and just waiting your entire fucking life, hoping that someone yanks out a gun and goes, "Give me your wallet."
Yeah. So apparently, I can't remember the whole story.
You're intentionally walking through seedy parts of town and shit, just hoping.
You should Google this because it's up there somewhere. But something, I can't remember if they took the wallet and he said like, "Oh, it's the wallet."
Let me just stop you right there. Even if they didn't ask him,
right,
he said it.
Should have. And then what he did is he started quoting a bunch of lines. He started saying, like, "You've caught me at a transitional time in my life." And the robbers got so freaked out because they knew the movie that they abandoned the whole thing, just dropped the money and ran.
in Arizona.
Did you already find it? Holy
I did.
Shit. My God, you're like a Google ninja. I had a friend that used to do that. He would always go to Google to try and prove you wrong, because apparently even at his age, which he was like 31 the last time this all happened.
This is awesome. Okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
Because I'm finishing this. So this friend used to do that, but you are so much faster at it. We used to call him the Google Fu Master because it was his martial art. I am now transferring that to you, sir, because I've never seen someone find such an obscure story so quickly.
Well, everybody's got a talent. I guess that's mine.
Yeah.
It was really lucky that I had my wallet with me that said "bad motherfucker" on it. The robbers came around demanding everybody's wallet, and I just held it up, how Samuel L. Jackson did in Pulp Fiction. Someone else who was in the restaurant. The robbers asked Mr. Horner what was in his hand. He told them it was his wallet that said "bad motherfucker" on it. I've never seen the movie, so I didn't know what he was talking about. I just thought he was some crazy white guy with a death wish.
You have found a much more delightful version of the story than I did.
That is fun. Although, frankly, if you're in Arizona and someone in a diner randomly holds that up, I mean, you've got to assume that he's got a gun with him in the diner to begin with.
Right.
I mean, really, if I'm going to pull armed robberies, that's probably one of the last states I'm going to do that shit in.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's absolutely true, actually. Your best one is probably New York. Because you can't get a gun for anything here. I'm pretty sure if you're a police officer, you're not allowed to get a gun for like 90 days. No, I'm just kidding. They get guns. Don't do anything stupid. Because I don't want my state to be on the news for the next...
I'm fine with Arizona, Texas, Ohio, and Florida continuing to hold down everything on that. That's fine as well.
Oh, OTF.
Did you said Method Man was in that indie movie you saw?
Yep.
Well, I'm down with the woo, Joe.
The best part
That's
is in the
me.
opening credits, they actually wrote his full name out. It was Clifford Method Man, whatever his last name is, which I was like, really? Now I'm going to have to figure out if I'm pretty sure it was Clifford, but it's... He actually played a very... sometimes I've seen him in movies, and he's...
Clifford Smith. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not racing you in this crap anymore. Yeah, you know how sometimes he plays kind of like the campy gangster, like in How High and shit. He definitely didn't play that here, which I was refreshed to see at the very least. I do like it when some of the musicians decide to act. Like everything I've seen Mos Def do has always been a good time. Like Be Kind Rewind.
Well, he's legitimately fucking out of his mind, right?
Mos Def?
Yes.
Oh, Mos
like
Def.
he believes in chemtrails and shit?
Yeah, I saw that on... it was an episode of... crap. Bill Maher's show. Come on.
I can't think of the name.
Yeah. Well,
I failed you.
Yeah, he was...
I didn't Google it, so I failed you.
Yeah, he was on that, and yeah, chemtrails and... a couple of other ones.
I still have to go. It's like, everybody's just hanging out at a barbecue, having a good time, and a plane goes over, and everything goes fucking crazy. It's like, really? I don't know. Mos Def. I don't know if that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, everyone's a little bit whacked out of this. I mean, I think to be an actor, period. I mean, it's like, we see with the comedians and stuff like that. There's every comedian. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not every comedian. But a lot of the really big comedians, there's something dark. Hanging out,
right?
Something really rough, and whether it's mental or just a rough background. So I think you need to be a little bit popped, to have any of that kind of
stuff, to
be able to do it. But
the material's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's like with Johnny Depp. There was someone, because everyone, the millennials now will just think that Johnny Depp was always huge. And let's be honest, he really wasn't.
Right.
Like, he did Jump Street. Yeah, pretty big show. But then, Gilbert Grape and Scissorhands, I mean, that's when he really started coming out. And then, you've got Pirates. And, I mean, let's be honest.
Right.
You do Pirates, you're just set for life as long as you're not stupid.
And they've done 14 of those now as well.
Exactly.
There's another one.
I'm sure there is. That doesn't surprise me at all. It's Disney, sir. They'll keep cranking that.
I was surprised because I think he's like the only original cast member even left still doing them. Huh. Although, frankly, with the amount of zeros on those checks, I'm not terribly surprised.
Right, exactly. There was an interview where someone was talking to his agent, and they were like, "Do you know like why he's picking some of these movies? Because some of the weird ones, like
money."
No,
I mean, well, the Disney produced stuff. I mean, really, even that.
No, not the Caribbean ones. Just like when he started
the other
doing
ones,
really
right.
weird projects, like
Okay.
like not the Disney ones, or when his
I don't know, man. Going
Tim
like
Burton calls him out.
Native American blackface is a little bit weird, frankly.
Yeah, you know what? He did that awesome though. Did you ever see that movie?
I did not.
He did it phenomenal. I don't think it was insensitive at all. Whatever.
Oh, I don't even think it was. I just think it's a weird choice,
Right,
regardless.
yeah, exactly. But
it's obviously campy as hell, so it's not like it's done to offend. But I just thought it was a strange decision.
It was fun. I would recommend watching that. But no, when he was doing like the Secret Window or like shit like that, like the really weird movies, and someone asked his agent like, "Hey, with all his star power, why is he picking?"
Was that the one where he like killed the people and then planted the corn over them?
It might have been
Secret
I didn't
Door.
See it.
Something.
IMDb him. So his agent, someone asked him, and his agent was like, "Well, he called me up and told me he wanted to do X movie," and she goes, "I think he kind of just wanted to play someone named Mort." Like it's just really weird stuff. But you know, I mean, you see that kind of stuff all the time. Like, what's his name?
Yeah, Secret Window was
Window.
He murders people and then plants them under corn that he grows. And then the closing, because I did see that movie for some fucking reason that I can't remember why. It seemed like a good idea at the time. The closing shot of the movie I will never forget, because he plants the dead bodies into the corn, and the corn grows up the next season. Cut to the next season, and the movie ends with a close-up, a full fucking movie screen close-up of his jacked up teeth taking a bite of the corn. Credits.
Interesting.
Yes. Just weird.
I like it. I don't care.
I didn't like it because the movie's fucking terrible.
Well, I mean, all right, what was worse, that or the number 23?
I don't know, man. If you had seen the last shot of Secret Window, I think we might be having a different discussion here.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I'll probably...
It is then revealed to the audience that the bodies are buried under the cornfield.
I think I've seen something like that, except it was called Soylent Green when I...
Field, for some reason, on IMDb spelled F-E-I-L-D.
Well, you know, no one's perfect. We talked about the Barnes & Noble thing.
on Yahoo Answers, what does the ending mean in Secret Window? You are trying way too fucking hard at life if you're looking for meaning under the end of that movie.
It means he's eating corn that was fertilized with dead people.
Yes, it does.
Quickest answer ever.
Yes. You've solved their problem.
It means that you've been paying way too much attention to symbolism in your English class. Just it's the face of it. Don't worry about it.
When you can see between Johnny Depp's teeth, you don't need to try to read between the lines.
Right. But yeah, I mean, you see that kind of crap all the time. Like, what was his name? Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, he's done some really crazy stuff, like, in his career to get into character and stuff. So I think that's just part of it. Now, speaking of people doing crazy things, one of my favorite celebrities at this point, and he's not even in the news all that often, but he's just so... I don't want to say down to earth because that's the wrong word for it at this point, but he's just so open about stuff. Like, I've heard people ask him, like, "Oh, have you been to jail?" He's like, "Yep." It's Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
I just think he's great. Is your volume off on your computer?
Yes.
Are you aware of the most recent, well, I shouldn't say most recent, but most recent in my mind scandal of him doing one of the music videos for this artist named Sia?
No.
Okay, so grab YouTube and just...
Does Sia involve like a dollar sign somehow that I need to be aware of?
No, it does not, because she's like 39 and not Kesha. And you better be careful, because Kesha has a higher IQ than both of us.
I like, you know what, man, whether that's true or not, that doesn't make her music not shitty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, grab that. So, and all of you folks at home, another interactive moment. Grab YouTube if you don't know what this is.
We can wait.
Yeah. And I will give you an idea of what's happening here. And some people will already know about this. And people got really pissed about it. And I absolutely didn't. And I got more upset about the fact that the artist like apologized for this rather than just being like, "No, I'm doing this."
So I see this screenshot of the video and she's just climbing on back of him and he looks like he's been done meth for 18 hours.
Yeah, pull that up and just...
I don't know if I want to contribute another view to the 326 million views that this already has.
It doesn't matter.
Oh.
Here, as quick
Somebody's making money because I'm clicking on this.
Yeah,
and I feel like they don't deserve it.
Someone who is as quick on this as you are. And yeah, once you get past that ad, just go right ahead.
Yeah, at least it's a Red Bull ad, a product I believe in.
Yeah, you are. Just so you know, you are contributing roughly tens, hundreds, thousands. You're contributing roughly 7/1000ths of a penny.
I'm still helping.
And believe me, Vivo, they're set. Don't worry about it. So, for those of you who don't know what this is and maybe aren't near an internet-ready computer, I am going to walk Jeff through this, so don't worry. Jeff, are you aware of the show Dance Moms?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can guess from the name.
It.
Yes.
It's about a dance studio in Pittsburgh, and these girls who are very young and travel all over the country competing, with the interest of doing their thing. Now, what you're seeing here, for those of you who can't pull this up or who have no interest to, and that's fine, is basically a Shia LaBeouf in, I don't know, what would you call those, like boxers-ish?
I guess.
Boxer briefs. And a girl who is considerably younger than him.
Is that the artist?
No.
Okay.
No, the artist is...
I don't know who the fuck Sia is, so you're going to have to help me here.
Actually,
I listen to punk rock and indie hip hop, man. I don't know who the fucking these people are. She's walking around like the girl from the fucking Ring now? I don't understand what's happening.
No, so, yeah, that girl she's one of these girls from the show Dance Mom. Now, the thing that you'll need to understand about this is they're in a cage, and, there's...
Is she dance beating the shit out of him?
That's basically the idea, yeah, is that she's the, why can't I think here? She is the aggressor. That's the word I was looking for. So, the reason people got all upset about it, have you figured out, maybe just by watching it, why people have gotten upset?
Well, it's a 9-year-old girl raping Shia LaBeouf, essentially, so yes.
There's later on in the video, they do get a bit closer. There's more physical contact between the two, so a lot of people got really upset about it because that girl, Maddie Ziegler, something like that, she was born in 2002, so that puts her 12 or 13 right now. And this video is fairly recent. And it's just kind of a point of reference, Shia LaBeouf's 29. So people got really upset about it. And there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing really...
He almost just gave her the Chris Patton Velociraptor hands on the second there.
There's nothing to me, if you watch through the whole video, which I'm not going to subject you to it, there's nothing even remotely sexual about it, in my opinion. And people lost it. And it's like, you know what? You might want to calm
It's just fucking
down.
weird.
Like,
I don't understand.
Well, of course it's weird. The artist herself, and I'm not saying anything bad about her, she is weird. She's 39 years old. She's from Adelaide, Australia. The reason you very rarely see her, she does not like being seen while she performs. So I saw her, she came on the Ellen show. She did another music video and used the same little girl in it because she just likes how she dances and everything. And quite frankly, she is a professional dancer. The artist, Sia, was standing in a darkened corner, so all you could see was her outline. She doesn't like being seen while she sings, which to me is interesting. It's not the first time I've heard of it, but when you go on a live show like that, the only other person I know off the top of my head is Maynard James Keenan, the lead singer of Perfect Circle.
Okay.
He there's been a couple times that he's been known to. A buddy of mine went to a show and told me he basically set up behind the drum kit and was wearing sunglasses and facing away from the crowd almost the entire time. Which he's apparently was a statement more of the fact that it's not him that people are there to see; it's the whole band,
right?
Because he's also the lead singer of Tool. So yeah, that was the most recent thing that Shia LaBeouf was in, and it actually kind of bummed me out that the chick apologized for it. Oh, it's the same level of when Letterman made a joke about Bristol Palin getting pregnant, something about her and like A-Rod or something, and he apologized for it. I got really upset. It's like, don't apologize. You made a joke, and if Sarah Palin can't take her, fuck her. She lives in Alaska. Like, what's she gonna do?
Right.
As long as you're not broadcasting.
Fuck, that's right next to Russia. Yeah. She's not coming that far.
As long as you're not broadcasting in Russia, which she can see from her house.
Yes. Picks up the local news broadcast, as I understand it.
Oh my god!
I don't think Letterman's on that affiliate.
Yeah, probably not. I hate that.
I've stopped watching that video. It's just fucking stupid.
That's fine. But
I think it offends me that music has come to the point where they just make stupid fucking videos that get 390 million views.
You're just mad because you're not getting that revenue.
It's just not true. It's just fucking stupid. Like, I don't even see what's artistic about that. It's just like, let's make this thing with these famous people in it that'll make people super mad because then my video will get watched 400 million times on YouTube.
You really think that was the motivation?
When YouTube revenue has become the main revenue stream for musicians nowadays, I feel like it's going to be part of the motivation.
No, could be.
Because the amount of fucking music now that's stolen or streamed, it's not from album sales anymore, man. Like, it's touring and fucking online streaming shit. So,
yeah, but you know that probably the record companies take over the online streaming. That's why that's under Vivo instead of...
Well, fair enough. But no, I was reading recently that artists, at least they get like huge views like that, make a huge portion of their revenue off of YouTube as opposed to actually selling music, which lends...
It's never been off music, man. If I'm
well, no,
honest.
right.
Like,
but
I've seen... So, just for the listeners out there, I worked for a band for a little while. Not a big band. No one that you would have heard of unless you knew the guys in the band, really. And in my time with them, I started really reading into the financials behind music business, and I saw 2 actual record contracts, like for getting them all set up on a label. One was given to me, and I read through it and never even presented it to the band because it was, terrible. It comes. Comes back
here's
to
15% for the whole band to split.
Yeah, it was. Really, I looked at it and I was like, what is this, like fucking Miles Davis back in the day? Like, it was that bad. It was like, oh, you guys got to do this, and this, and we'll pay you like. It was like 10% of the door at any shows, and it's like, seriously, 10% of the door. Like,
right?
Are you kidding? The venues they're playing fit 50 people, and they usually only charge $2 at the door. That's not. It doesn't cover the gas money to pull up the driveway. And the other one, same thing. The album sales. They would have made a dime on every album sale. Conversely, I went out and designed an album for them and got the recording and they did the recording, obviously, but got everything set up, and they made $2.70 off of every one that we sold for $3. It's not hard to do, and that's why people do it themselves. But it would make sense if they were setting it up on YouTube to make money, especially if you own the copyright or whatever.
Joe, my Vienna-style Vienna lager is empty.
All right, well, I guess it's time for more beer.
All right, so this time, a little bit of Buffalo love here for the Buffalo podcast. Little Rusty Chain from Flying Bison.
I'm going to do it. We got
far away,
over
far
here.
away. Wait, hold on. Your car's not braking.
I have always liked.
Yes.
Yeah, I've always liked Rusty Chain. Probably one of my favorites out of them. But they do make a really good Kolsch when it's in season.
Agreed. The 716.
Yeah.
Yes. That's out now.
Is it?
Yes.
I guess I'm going to have to pick up a 6-pack now. God damn it.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, because I know she had listened to the first one. Did Mama Kless listen to the second episode? I'm sorry, episode 1?
I am almost positive she is not. Mainly because, again, here's the timetable, guys. We put that up like 2 days ago because of all the issues. I did not even invite her to that one. But what is funny is, I was over there for Father's Day, and I think I mentioned holder of phone comment that she had put out there. So when we were over there, pretty much everything she said or everything she brought up was just, that doesn't go on the podcast. Like, that's going to stop me at all, actually. Again, Mama Kless is a lovely, very intelligent person. She just sometimes does really funny stuff. She does really funny stuff. My mother is a former kindergarten teacher, folks. So there's some really.
She's used to this language from her classroom then.
Yeah, no, she's an incredibly creative person. Someday we'll have to talk about when the Easter spider came to town.
Ooh,
yeah, that was.
Spinning rainbow-colored webs, I assume?
Yeah, actually, exactly that. And you know what? Screw it. I can't make people wait for this. It's like, I really can't. So one year, I was very young, which my family dynamic is the 2 older siblings are much older than the 2 younger siblings, my sister and myself. So one morning we woke up and there was this big piece of poster board that was a note from the Easter Bunny saying that he needed a vacation, which quite frankly, if you only work 1 day a year, I don't think you're getting vacation. And he had called the Halloween Spider to come in and help out to cover his shift, essentially. So what happened was both girls had colors of yarn that were very, very close to one another, and both boys had 2 colors of yarn that were very close to one another. These started at the top of the stairs and then went downstairs and wove a web through the entire downstairs of my house, with exception of the kitchen, which we have kind of a corridor kitchen.
So essentially she did not sleep that night, is what you're saying?
Probably, yeah. And when I say like woven, I mean this stuff was everywhere. So the whole idea was you had to follow your string down. Now, the part of this that gets really funny, aside from my mom going, oh, Easter baskets are too conventional, let me add more work to my plate, was, so my dad was reheating coffee in the microwave, and he was trying to get through. We have it on VHS, and I've got to put it on DVD because we can't lose it. He was trying to get through to get to the microwave because it was going off. And someone said something to him like, you know, what are you doing? Why are you trying? Because he's trying to get through this web without knocking it down, you know? And he, in just frustration, he just said, my coffee's probably doing something in there. And that has become a quote that gets said by everyone in the family. It gets said by Danielle because that's probably... And she just recently found out that I had that on tape. And she's like, how... She's like... You told me the story. You knew I loved it. You know I say it now. Like, sometimes the microwave will go off in the apartment, and, like, if I rush to it or she rushes to it, she'll say it. My coffee's probably doing something in there. So
the fact that you haven't turned that into a Vine yet is disappointing to me.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you how to use Vine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I'll do it.
You will. But the other really funny part about that is my brother being there's no box in his world, so there's no thinking remotely even close to it. He sits there while all of us are, you know, going through and following the string, and I'm not joking. They were so close in color. I think one of the girls like switched strings by accident.
Right.
To go back to the beginning. He just waited for a while, and he just sat at the bottom of the stairs, yanked the string as hard as he could, and went to the room where he heard noise because the strings were tied to the Easter baskets. So yeah, she's incredibly creative. So here's one that will make people wait for. She also, and the funny part of this is how she did it or when she did it. She also came up with an alphabet for kids that's easier to learn, that you can write all the letters without picking up your pen, and you eliminate the confusion between B and D.
That's fun. Yeah. I'm not going to make you do that right now, though, because we're going to start to go long if we start to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. The other thing I wanted to bring up before we're done for the evening is last week on the podcast you had given me some cards to give to Danielle, a complete set of Hook trading cards.
Yes, and stickers worth literally hundreds of pennies.
So I gave that to her, and she was like, What do you do with them? I'm like, they're trading cards. They were just a novelty item. You force kids to buy them so that they get the whole set, and they trade doubles with other kids. I'm like, they're trading cards. How do you not know the function of these? But she was really excited, and apparently on some of the cards, if you flip them over, they were pieces to a puzzle that made a larger picture.
Okay.
So she already did that.
Well, good, man. I'm glad you like that.
Yeah, she was pretty stoked, so thank you very much for that.
Yeah, man.
And on the note of awesome things, the other thing that we didn't talk about on our Toronto trip is Jeff and I also picked up a delightful thing that may or may not be illegal here.
Ooh.
It's a food item, so stop thinking other things, Canada to U.S. And that went over great in my household. I heard it went over great here.
It did.
Yeah, so that's all we're saying about it. But that's, again, we forget the mic is here and we talk.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Eggs. Yes.
Oh, God, is that Border Patrol?
But, hey, really, though, anybody that has made it through here, definitely thank you for listening tonight. If you didn't hear the prior episodes, go back and listen. If you're on YouTube, Hey, again, because I've always wanted to say this, the link's in the description. Fuck, I got to figure that out now. And I definitely appreciate you bearing with my sick nonsense here tonight as well. But glad we got the show going here.
Absolutely. And from myself as well, I not only want to thank anyone who's listening, but also I want to thank all the people who have apparently been handing this out to their friends and getting them to listen to. We definitely appreciate it. If you're listening to this and you are sitting there and someone's face pops into your head and go, they might like this, make sure you pass it on. Not only to bolster our confidence, but also to give them something to listen to. And I'd also like to take a small moment to thank Jeff, because you guys might have not heard it or seen it. You heard coughing. I'm looking at the poor guy. He's obviously not 100%. And he was more than willing to get this done so that we can try and get more on those deadlines that we keep talking about. So thank you very much, sir. Thank all of you for listening. Like I said, if you want to drop us a comment or give us something that you want us to talk about, because Jeff usually has a funny take on it, and I usually have a take that's completely opposite of his, so that's always fun. And other than that, we will see you next time around.
For Joke Less, I'm Jeff Laidman. That kid is back on the escalator.